Hello, my name is Tracy Allen and I want to welcome you to Cooking with Some Friends. Hello, and welcome to Cooking with Some Friends. I have supper going tonight, and I've got those two things going on the side, but I'm also going to make some fried zucchini. And I am cutting my recipe in half just because it's just two of us here. And this will actually serve 6 to 8 people if you do the whole recipe. But I cut up one whole zucchini, and I've got in my bowl, I'm going to turn the heat down on that other. I've got in my bowl a half a cup of flour. Actually, in my bowl, I have closer to a 1/4 cup of flour because I'm cutting this in half. And my zucchini, and I have 1 egg instead of 2. And then I have my breadcrumbs. And I have 1 cup of breadcrumbs. You need to make 2 if you're doing the whole recipe. But I'm going to season those with a combination of some spices. And I have some garlic powder, a half a teaspoon, a 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder, 1/4 teaspoon of parsley, 1/4 teaspoon of oregano, and a 1/4 teaspoon of dried basil. I'm going to put that in there, but I'm also going to add to this about a 1/4 cup to a half a cup, just depending on what your flavor you like, of Parmesan cheese. So my oil is heating, and I have about a 1/2 inch of oil in my small frying pan. And I want to do this in batches and then drain it on paper toweling. But I'm going to dredge the zucchini first in the flour, and then in the egg, and then in my seasoned breadcrumbs. You can do several at a time, just don't overcrowd when you get to the part of putting them in your pan. Just fry them up until they're lightly browned, and then drain them on paper toweling, and then they'll be ready to go. And you can add more salt and pepper if you want to once you taste them. But I added just a little bit to my breadcrumbs, so don't overdo it. Okay, our first batch of fried zucchini is done, and now I'll flip our second batch that I have in the pan and let those continue to brown, and then those will be ready. And we're going to do some morel mushrooms, but this wasn't a good year for mushrooms. And I had someone who was supposed to help me get those and guest appear with me, and that just didn't happen. Our schedules didn't work out. So I'm going to finish frying these up and finish the other things I have going for supper, and then I'll show you what that all looks like. Hello everyone, and welcome to Cooking with Some Friends. I'm getting supper ready tonight, which was kind of unplanned in a way. We were going to go to one of my granddaughter's sporting events, and that didn't pan out because we're having storms today. So I am going to make a couple of state recipes and a couple of recipes that we just enjoy. So I'm making some Philly cheesesteak, Sloppy Joe's, which obviously is from Philadelphia. I'm making some boardwalk fries, and they're different than just a homemade fry, more by what you put on it and how you begin the process. And then I'm going to make some fried zucchini. So I have my oil heating to 375 right now for my fries. And in my pan for my Sloppy Joe's, I have a tablespoon of oil, and to that I'm going to add 1 green bell pepper and about a 1/4 of an onion that I've already diced up. just want to saute those until they're tender. So I'm sauteing that onion and the pepper just until it's tender. And then I'm going to add to this 1 pound of hamburger and let that brown up. And then I'll drain the hamburger once it's all completely browned. The other things you're going to need for the Philly cheesesteak sloppy joes, besides the stuff I have in my pan, you're going to need 3/4 cup of beef broth, and you'll need a bouillon cube, which I have somewhere hiding from me, some salt and pepper to taste, garlic powder, and you're going to need about 1/2 teaspoon of that, and then a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, and then I need 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. Now when they're done and we're ready to serve, you're going to want some provolone slices and your buns to serve those on. And you can toast it if you want to, you don't have to, or instead of provolone slices, you can actually use shredded provolone and mix it in with your Philly cheesesteak mix, but I just want my cheese on top of it. Plus, if we have leftovers, it makes it a lot easier to warm that up without the cheese in it. It's still going to take just a few more minutes. So our peppers were getting tender, so I went ahead and put the hamburger in, and you needed that 1 pound of hamburger, and you just want to break it up and brown it and drain it, and then I'll show you what's next. But the Philly cheesesteak sloppy joes, I've drained my burger that's brown. So now I want to mix together my beef broth, my 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, my tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, and then my tablespoon of cornstarch. And I'm going to use 3 teaspoons just because I don't want to use that has had the Worcestershire in it. And now it's on me. Let me get that one quite full enough. Okay, and my 1 bouillon cube. I'm going to put this in my hamburger mixture and let this come to a boil, and I want it to boil for 5 minutes. And then it will be ready to put on the buns. Toast them before you do if you want to, or you can put the cheese on it and put it under the broiler at that point. Bring it up to a boil and boil for 5 minutes. Thanks for joining us for this session of Cooking with Some Friends. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And find us on Facebook at Cooking with Some Friends.